Welcome back, everyone. We're Simply Bitcoin. We break down the news, the daily fail, meme review, software releases, hardware releases, and the pleb sites. Nico, let's dive into the numbers.
Number time. Brought to you by Nodl. They make some of the best Bitcoin nodes, like the Nodl Dojo. It's in red. That means it's faster. Also made of metal. This is hand-built by the Nodl guys in Paris. Run your own version of Bitcoin Core and the Lightning Network, all in the comfort of your own home. Remember, guys, if you don't run your own Bitcoin node, you're trusting someone else's. That's a big no-no for privacy, so get yourself a Nodl today.
At the time of this recording, the block height is 739,594. The Bitcoin price, 31,260. Chain rewrite days, 765. Total public Lightning capacity, 3,959. Moscow time, 31.99. Blocks to the halvening, 100,405. And the Samurai Whirlpool unspent capacity. Samurai Whirlpool is a CoinJoin or collaborative spend. It is not a mixing service. And the unspent capacity for that pool is 4,559.26 BTC. Nico, it's just you and I, and these are the numbers.
These are the numbers. Bitcoin's the new stable coin. 30K is the new stable price, I guess, until it's not. It just feels
weird
that
action
way.
Today, though.
Very, very, very strange stuff. Anyways, today I want to talk about something very interesting. Not really number related, but it inspired me so much that I want to talk about it. This is what I tweeted out. I said, if this works out, everyone, no matter what country, will be able to save for a better future. This is what we fight for. This is what they fight against. And what inspired me to tweet this out? Well, I saw a tweet from Lord Fusuita. We had him on the show earlier. He is a member of Parliament of the Kingdom of Tonga. It's this very small island in the middle of the Pacific that actually got hit by this catastrophic tsunami. It was a volcanic eruption and then a tsunami. But check this out, and this is why I tweeted what I tweeted. It said, kept Bitcoin flowing into Tonga when all legacy comms, both voice and data, were down for the weeks immediately following the volcanic eruption and tsunami. Cannot recommend highly enough. Keep your emerging market country receiving the Bitcoin blockchain during outages. And how did he do that? He did that with the Blockstream satellite. Right? What is the Blockstream satellite? Blockstream satellite's a satellite dish like the DirecTV dish, and it connects with the corresponding Blockstream satellite that's orbiting Earth, right? So you could sync up with the Bitcoin network, and you don't need internet, right? This is the power of Bitcoin. Like, you know how hard it would be to connect with the legacy infrastructure. Not only would it be to connect with the legacy infrastructure if you're in this remote island, right, like the Kingdom of Tonga, but also remitting money, right? You're gonna get totally crushed, right? So not only was the legacy system that charges you more down, Bitcoin a better system, open, inclusive, no middleman, right? No, FETFA. No WEF, no IMF, right, regulations in there to do God knows what. The people of Tonga could still receive Bitcoin, even after a catastrophic volcanic eruption. And if you happen to live in the middle of the Amazon, right, or in the middle of Costa Rica, I'm looking at you. You know who you're talking about, the dude that makes drums. If you watch this, I don't want to dox you, but you know who you are. You know who you are. In the jungles of some Central American country, perhaps the Blockstream satellite will be useful to you. And this is what we're talking about. This is the power of Bitcoin. How do you stop that signal? And also, you could also, what I've heard, I think I saw NVK tweet this. I think he has it pinned, where he actually transmitted a Bitcoin transaction over ham radio. And ham radio is very interesting because what it does is essentially you can have a ham radio set and you communicate to someone halfway across the planet because the radio signals bounce off the top of the atmosphere, right? So it kind of does this like little Z motion all around the globe. And that's another way to transmit Bitcoin transactions. The point I'm trying to make is that you can't stop the signal. Okay, you can't stop the signal. And this is why I tweet what I tweeted earlier. If this works out, this is savings technology for everybody. Even if you're in the remote African savannah, right, or Sahara, whatever it is. I think it's both in Africa, actually. Or if you're in a communist country like North Korea, like if you knew about Bitcoin for the first time ever in your life, you could own private property, money that is very hard to confiscate and can't be debased by a central government. Like, that is absolutely fascinating, and it isn't hypothetical anymore. Now you actually have an actual example. Tragically, it had to do with, you know, a volcanic eruption and you know, a tragedy that happened there. But still, Bitcoin, once again, is the only thing that's left standing, right? You see this in Cuba and you see this in Afghanistan, like we've been covering. Like, this is hope. This is what we mean by hope. Bitcoin is hope. Anyways, Phil, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, the no-coiners are losing their narratives, right? Like, now that's it. If the internet goes away, you can still do Bitcoin. Like, you can still Bitcoin. So there you go. They just lost that narrative. ESG has just been falling apart for them, even though I know that the corporate-owned media is going to pretend like they've got reins on this and they've got this all in control. The reality is that more and more institutions and people in the government are figuring out that Bitcoin is not boiling the oceans, okay? And it's actually going to be a driving force for innovation. So they're losing ESG. And the other thing, I know you mentioned the ham radio stuff, but there's also something else that's been going on for a few years that's been slowly building in the background.
Meshnet.
Exactly. Matt Odell mentions it quite a few times, and specifically one specific product that has been working with Bitcoin or with Bitcoiners for a while is Gotenna. Yeah. They've got a few product offerings, and I mean, don't get me wrong, like at the end of the day, it's still very Swiss Army knife and it's rudimentary, but hey, that's the beginnings. That's how it starts to work. That's what gets the wheels turning. So, you know what? Look, we just got to zoom out. We got to look at the signal, right? And this is signal. The reality is that the no coiners are losing narratives. They're falling apart. You know what? I think there's only maybe one or two narratives left that they can hang on to, right?
Which
I think
are those?
The power going out in the entire world all at once. I love that one. That's one of my favorite ones.
We have much bigger problems.
No, but to them, Nico, it's a Bitcoin thing. Okay, it doesn't matter.
Money's not gonna be important if the power goes out, bro.
Oh yeah, but you can't say that because Bitcoin's bad. So if the power goes out,
what about credit cards, dude? Cash?
No, that doesn't get affected.
People are gonna care about if that happens. People are gonna care about food, guns, ammo, and water. Of course,
it goes back. It goes back to the pyramid, right? The pyramid of needs, right? Like that's it. Food, shelter, water. I mean, like, what are you supposed to do? Guns, right? You have
definitely need those if the power goes out for a long time.
But like again, right? I don't understand how they make these narratives. So back to the original point. This is
what is the other one? What is the other? You said two.
I was trying to think of it. I couldn't.
You're gonna leave me hanging.
Second one.
You're gonna leave me hanging, bro.
I know. It's the only one. I think that's the only one. Anyways.
Okay. Well, let us know if if you're an altcoiner. I'll be nice. And there's another potential weakness or attack vector in Bitcoin. Please let us know down in the comments. You know, we're not right all the time, and we're very open to criticism. We'd be hypocritical if we weren't. But anyways, Phil, it's time for
The Daily Fail. Brought to you by Swan. Check them out, swanbitcoin.com. That's right. The best way to build your Bitcoin stack. Automated Bitcoin savings plans, instant purchases, an app on the way, a platform that is built by fellow plebs. The link is down below. You know what? I guess it's kind of fitting that we don't have a guest today because this is definitely, there's going to be a cringe AF fail that we are going to dive into. This one sucks too, but still, just not as cringe as the one we're going to dive into, which Hans Films gave us, and we are going to cover it. But first, here we go. Solana and Elrond. Never even heard of Elrond. Anyways, here we go. It sounds like Enron. Anyways, would you buy more EGLD or Sol? And then, you know, the person put together a little survey here, you know, with you either retweet it or you like it, and there you go. All right, so the battle of the shitcoins, and here we go. We've got a tweet from @Elron Gold. EGLDY. Sol is number one hack from, what is that? Sol is number one hack from zero with over 20 downtimes. Elron with 1.7 million users, multiple dexes and NFT markets. Mainnet running almost 2 years and zero downtime. Zero hacks. Zero exploits. Okay. Here's another person shilling this shitcoin. The blockchain media. That's trustworthy stuff right here. The chain media. 50K followers, dude. Anyways, here we go. If you think Elron can't reach a market cap of 80 billion, you're mistaken. Solana is and was broken, and it reached 77 million. Guys, that's the use case. This shit was broken, but we can get to those levels too. Okay? It's just letting you know. Anyways, EGLD has superior technology with zero downtime or security issues. Elron will go above 80 billion. Well, that was June 5th at 1:59 p.m. It was actually yesterday.
No way, Crash.
Oh, dude. Just wait. So here we go. This is the founder and CEO of the Elron network, and this is at 7:56 p.m., so less than 6 hours after that tweet you just looked at. Investigating a set of suspicious activities on the Meyer decks. We are here, all hands on deck. We'll update as soon as analysis is clear. And this is the part that I find absolutely funny. This is just hilarious that's why I love Twitter. And it's free. Should keep quiet in future, mocking other chains. Indeed. And look, Nico's right. I can't lie. I always love to show the dirty coin, the dirty coin market cap chart. And take a look, right? You can see a very well orchestrated pump and dump and distribution. Here you go, and I do the all-time log. So look, if we just want to take a look at the 7-day, that's perfectly fine. You can see it's just shit in the bed. But if you want to look, zoom out. It's always nice to zoom out. You really understand the trend. And the trend is going right back to zero. Anyways, Nico, before I dive into the cringiest, I think it actually is the cringiest fail that we have had to date. Do you have any comments about
more
this?
More than transhuman and more than the mouse coin?
This is worse.
Thank God we don't have Greg Foss on today's show. What are my thoughts? Look, here's my very simple thought. The name is suspiciously close to Enron. Okay, you know how I say the shitcoiners have the best names, and not with that one. That one fucked up. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Stay away from shitcoins. Stay humble. Stack sats. Stick to the truth, which is Bitcoin. Don't get greedy. That's the problem. People, look. 99% of people, even when you were coming in, you weren't buying these shitcoins because of the technology, okay? You were buying these shitcoins because you thought you were going to get rich, okay? Like, be real with yourself. That's the excuse that you come up with. It's like, this is going to change the future because it doesn't. But do you actually give a shit what your actual shitcoin does? No. You want to sell it for more fiat. What we're trying to convince you is if you buy yourself Bitcoin and DCA into Bitcoin, you're not going to want to sell that Bitcoin later because you're going to realize... what are you going to sell it for? Monopoly money? I get it. Look, if you want to buy a house, okay, you want to buy, basic living things, I understand that. That makes total sense. Everyone needs a house, right? Except for Phil because he lives under a bridge. But most people, right? So yeah, I mean, look, stick to Bitcoin, and I know a lot of you are not going to listen to me, but at least we tried. Anyways, Phil, what is this cringeworthy fail? Am I going to have to pull up the Jurassic Park meme?
You might have to.
What's that guy's name? He's the actor in Jurassic Park.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yes.
Jeff Goldblum.
Where he sees this, he's like, that's a steaming pile of shit.
That is a steaming pile of shit. Here we go. And again, I just want to remind everyone, at Hans Films is the one who sent me this.
Okay, so instead of saying the S word fully, just say X.
Yeah.
Just say X.
So X to earn startup thinks people will F for crypto. But just wait, because how they do this, Nico, this is very interesting stuff. Let's dive in. Sexen promises, that's the name of the token. SEXN is the name of the token. Promises to pay you in crypto when you're having X. And it's already making money, even if it hasn't delivered anything yet. That's right. You know how sometimes we talk about Bitcoin being in a bear market? Apparently there's still some rumblings of a bull market because we see garbage like this is still coming out and able to make some money. Anyways, here we go. The Web3 boom has generated a plethora of complex token-based business models that promise riches. A cryptocurrency startup called SEXN, most likely a play on the popular move-to-earn running app Steppen, is hoping to convince people that X to earn is not only functionally possible through a series of biometric monitors, apps, and NFTs, but profitable. I can't believe we're reading this. This is hilarious. Anyways, why would somebody pay you for this? This makes no sense.
I just think it's weird. Like, it's like, so you have
to gather your data.
You have to wear a monitor. It's like, oh, you get the shitcoin now. Look, it's like the Apple Watch.
Just wait, it gets even better, because as you could imagine, Nico, there's different modes that you can monitor. Of course, God. Right? Here we go. It's a concept that's banking on the idea that when it comes time to get intimate with oneself or others, users will stop the action, start an X timer on their phones in order to earn the company's own tokens. The X Orgasm token, or SOT, which is supposed to launch this week. Yay! So excited. Shitcoin for boning. Anyways, here we go. The X to earn model, like play to earn, where users have to complete in-game tasks in order to earn shitcoin, promises rewards based on how much effort you put into it. That's right, Nico. They pay you for the struggle. They're paying you for that struggle. All right, here we go. In SEXN's case, that effort will be quantified. Its developers propose through an app connected to a wristband. You've got an app, you've got a shitcoin, you've got NFTs, you've got a wristband. All you're trying to do is make some love. Anyways, here we go. At the moment, it's unclear how real SEXN is or if it will ever live up to its promises. Everything about this project raises eyebrows, you think? From the vague roadmap illustrated by cartoon women who are either blowing bubbles or look like Bosit, and men made to look like nerds or creepy pickup artists, to the overly complex earning system. And this is just a little screenshot of the roadmap. Yes, that's right. I went to the website so you don't have to. And indeed, this is the roadmap. Very, very clever. Anyways, meanwhile, SEXN is selling NFTs. Of course, right? So we don't have a product yet. We don't know what this thing's going to do. No idea what the potential, but we're already selling NFTs. And there's already demand. In its own marketplace, dozens of identical cartoon condoms and vibrators. Wow. SEXN has already launched a governance token too. Look at that. Governance token, SST, that had a pre-sale, followed by a precipitous crash in value. Everyone is surprised. The pre-sale of SOT has already raised over 125K. There is a sucker born every minute. A white paper published to SEXN's website vaguely outlines the roadmap. A wearable device test was planned for early 2022, which the white paper implies would be integrated with a yet-to-launch app. And this is the fun part, the 4 modes of earning on SEXN. According to the project's white paper, each of which earn tokens at different rates and require users to own special combinations of NFTs to unlock. Think about this. So you need to buy NFTs and you need to hold these NFTs in order to unlock certain X modes. This is ridiculous. Anyways, and here we go. Now let's dive into the modes.
Even your dogs are like, what the fuck?
Yeah, even my dogs are freaking out. They're like, what the hell has he done? All right, here we go. Coitus mode is for condom NFT holders. So that's right, you bought the condom NFT. Users will smash the start button in the app right before sex. And the app...
God damn it, Phil.
Sorry. 3, 2, 1. Okay, coitus mode is for the condom NFT holders. Users will smash the start button in the app right before X, and the app will determine whether you are having X. Next, you've got... masturbation mode. Only requires users to wear their tracking bracelet, and it earns fewer tokens. Let me tell you, it's earning fewer tokens in real life too. So, anyways, sadism and masochism mode was under development due to the latent risk and professional requests, and requires a professional entry exam. Does this sound a little too difficult for you? to earn this shitcoin. I just think this sounds completely insane. Super mode is for marathon X sessions. In response to rumors that this project is a rug pull, have no fear. They said, we will try our best to push this project go. So we're not going to push this project forward.
Is that fun?
We're not going to push this project ahead. Yeah, exactly, right?
They're going to push it.
But they're going to push the project go.
Oh, man.
Hi, Nico. I'm so sorry, but we had to do it. Anyways, ex-workers who actually use cryptocurrency to navigate discriminatory financial systems are way ahead of SEXN without any of the goofy heart rate wristbands or coitus modes. And if we've learned anything from X content, but make it blockchain startups over the years, it's that writing your X activity to a global transaction ledger is almost always a misguided move. Now, guys, for the people that decide they actually want to go look at the white paper and this garbage site, we have included it in the show notes. But I just want to point out that the X workers in real life, to the point of the end of that article, they already were using Bitcoin a long time ago to facilitate transactions. They already understood that there was a currency that does everything that they need to do. They don't have to get their customer to wear a wristband. There's no fancy app you have to download. You don't have to do this with your partner either. This is straight up nonsense. And I know at the beginning of this read, I said that just maybe there's some bull left in this market and we're not just trailing back. But I'm going to pull back from that comment. I'm going to digress, Nico, and I'm going to say this type of shitcoin may indicate an absolute kind of like peak of shitcoining where everyone gets that it's a total scam and it's about to just fall off a cliff. Just my opinion.
Dude.
Just my opinion.
Look, I don't know whether this is worse than the orb coin. Like the orb where they scan your eyeballs. Like, where do these people get these ideas? And it always reminds me of what Gigi said when he came on the show, which is the shitcoins have to get more and more ridiculous because all the people in the middle of the bell curve, right, don't fall for it anymore. They've survived the ICOs. They've survived the NFTs. So what you're really hoping for, the laggards, like the people, and it gets so ridiculous that because they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it if it wasn't economical for them to do it, right?
Oh yeah.
But, holy cow! I can't. This is crazy. And look, and here's the signal. You want to pay what the signal is? Have you noticed that none of these things that make you scan your eyeballs or, record your activity give you real money, give you Bitcoin? No, because that would actually cost them something. So what they're giving you is this token that they've created out of nowhere at no cost to themselves. And they're just giving it to you because that's what it is. It's monopoly money. And then most people buy it, not because they're interested in this. In my opinion, Klaus Schwab's son created this or something. People are but like if they're buying this, it's because they think it's going to go up in value. Like that's what you're not really buying it because, and what Phil always says, it needs to be money. Like it doesn't. Like this doesn't need to be money. Bitcoin could facilitate. Like this is terrible. It's a terrible idea, but you could make this. You could build this on Bitcoin if you would like. The reason that they don't, though, is because then they wouldn't make money. You wouldn't be making your own money, right? It's as simple as that, right? But yeah, that was definitely top spot in my opinion. That and orb coin. That orb coin, transhuman coin. Look, I had such bad experiences with that I remember them. I can name them off the top of my head. Transhuman, the mouse, where they like injected a mouse with the private key. Poor mouse. The orb, terrible. I raised like $20 million. We had
transhuman coin.
We had the CEO of Casa on that episode. It was great. And then transhuman coin, and now we have an X coin. Like, anyways. Woo! Stay in Bitcoin. Yeah, that's all. It just gives a bad name to the entire industry. Like when the people are talking about scams, when the politicians are talking about this is what they're talking about. Like it's just crazy.
Let's be realistic, right? The other piece to this is what is the only other thing they can do besides scam noobs out of their money? they can if they can scam enough users, they can use the data set.
Yep.
And they can resell the data set to whatever companies would find this useful. So again, right? They're just, look, you're being monetized,
And
right? We are being monetized. This is what they do.
You have
okay?
nothing. You have
it's
nothing
exactly
to gain
what
from
you
this.
said.
You have nothing to gain from this. It's as simple
Nothing.
as that.
Yep.
But anyways, Phil, it's time for it.
The Daily Meme Review.
Brought to you by Citadel 21. It's the best Bitcoin cultural zine. It's stories, articles, comics by actual Bitcoiners. Every volume has different artwork. This is the artwork for volume 10. This is the artwork for volume 2. It's almost sold out. And this is the artwork for volume 11. And they're scarce. There's only 1,000 physical copies per volume. So get your physical print of Citadel 21 today before they run out. All right, everybody, welcome to the Bitcoin Meme Review, where we review Bitcoin memes. Memes are an essential part of Bitcoin culture, and they function as a weapon in this information war that we're fighting every single day in the trenches of the internet. Memes are artillery. Anyways, let's check it out. First meme by Michael Arlett. Brilliant. The life story, the real story of life, time, most of your life. No, I would say young adult, older adult. Really, it's like 25 to 65, right?
Yeah.
It's true. Most of the time, you don't have time because you're just working for money, and then at the once you start getting older, right? I wouldn't even say you have that much time left.
I know. I thought that part of it too. I was like, I kind of agree.
Look, and then a Bitcoiner fixed it, right?
Yeah.
It said time, money, and then
I would have made it all 3 X's at the end.
and then then fixed it. Leave it up to the Bitcoiners. Now, this is life under a fiat standard. This is what it's about. Under a Bitcoin standard, no, this doesn't work like that. Your savings, your energy, your work, your time that you put into earning this money, that money is deflationary. So it actually goes up in time. It goes up in value in time. Versus an inflationary currency where you're constantly working harder and harder for the same amount of money or more money, but the purchasing power is decreasing. So it creates this anxiety in your head. I'm telling you, the psychological effects of Bitcoin are underlooked. Like, they're not appreciated. I've seen it happen to Phil. I've seen it happen to myself. I've seen it happen, I wouldn't say hundreds of people, but tens of people, right? At least 50, 60, 70 people, where they change their unit of account from fiat to Bitcoin, and then all of a sudden, and this is NVK's handle on Twitter, you have deterministic optimism, right? Based on the Bitcoin halving, right? Which essentially has this function where it creates a supply shock, really, roughly every 4 years. Price of Bitcoin goes up, your purchasing power increases in terms of fiat. And we've shown you that really famous website, Priced in Bitcoin 21, and everything goes lower. That's the benefits of a deflationary currency. You've been scammed your entire life to make you believe that you should work for a currency that some dude in a suit gets to make for free. That's not cool. With Bitcoin, no matter who you are, there's a cost to acquiring that Bitcoin. Anyways, this is why they want to kill proof of work so bad, by the way. Connect the dots. Next one by bitcoinshirt.net. 48K gang, 58K gang, not going to make it. 28K gang, Bitcoin, 38K gang. 58K gang. I hope that's not Dennis. No, he's tagged. No, Dennis is gone.
He's fine. He's fine.
By the way, subscribe to Dennis's YouTube channel. It's freaking awesome. We'll tag you in the meme review tomorrow, Dennis. We'll give you a little bit of a shout out. Subscribe. Help fellow plebs get the signal out. Help us defeat the shitcoin. I don't think we're going to be able to. At least we're going to stand a chance, okay? Because they're flooding YouTube, those guys. Anyways, Joe Consorti, are you selling Anon? I'm not selling. And I'm not selling. This is good. I like it. It's good. I love dogs. Okay. Anyways.
This is great. Ropium.
Rope. There's no substitute for proof of work. At long last, I have found it. The crystal of Ethereum. Must deposit 5 of me before moving me. Oh, whoa. Effing scam. That's hilarious. I love Indiana Jones. They don't make movies like that anymore.
No.
When a Bitcoin pleb takes a leak. Oh, what the hell? I'll give it a try. The weak should fear the strong. Listen, if you got a stream like that, woof. Wow. Okay. Ethereum is a scam and a shitcoin. Bitcoin only. How to recognize a stroke, paralyzed arm, Ethereum coherent speed, ETH ultra sound money. These are savage. Yeah. Okay. Another one by Ropium. Sometime in 2042, wake up. Come on, snap out of it. Please, if you can hear my voice. It's no use, he's in a deep coma. We have hyper-Bitcoinization. Oh, man, you picked some good ones today. I figured
I'd leave with a bang, right?
Exactly. Phil's
no pun intended.
Phil's escaping. He found a mule to carry him over the...
Going to Freedom Country.
East Boston Wall, and to escape communism and to free to the free state of Florida. So he's gonna be gone for the next 4 days. I'm gonna host a show with Optimist, right? So just letting you guys know. And for that, I'm gonna give it a fork. But not only is it a fork, it's a used fork.
Pasta.
Yeah. I think so. I think this is Chipotle.
Okay, yeah. Could be that too, right? Got the bowl instead of the wrap.
It's on my desk, so that means that it's not more than a day old.
Okay, so. that's always good.
Yeah.
Because once it starts to have fur and change colors, you're in trouble.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna take that to the kitchen after.
Okay, good, excellent. All right, so of course the house is pretty much now it's really empty. I don't even have the stickers anymore. Okay, so I'm going with my UPS that connects to my other UPS.
Okay. That's a good
You're not supposed to do that, but I do that, and it's terrible, and I'm going to get crap from anybody who knows anything.
I hate when they start breaking, and you just hear the beep, like, beep! It's like, no, it's because the battery's freaking dead, bro.
That's right.
Oh, man. Okay, anyways, guys, we want to know if you agree with our scores, you disagree. If you disagree, rate the meme yourself down in the comment section. What would those memes mean to you? Give us an object or something. Make sure to subscribe to us on alternative video platforms like rumble.com and our personal favorite, bitcointv.com. They don't censor there because it's Bitcoin TV. And join our Telegram group. It's a party in there. There's a bunch of plebs posting Bitcoin memes, hanging out. It's cool. Join it. The link's down below. But anyways, Phil, it's time for it.
The Daily News.
Brought to you by CryptoCloaks.com. They make some of the best 3D printed Bitcoin merch, like the famous 3D printed Bitcoin grenade toy. Comes in any custom color your heart desires. This just happens to be gold. Because it's gold, it's the one that I show off the most. Look, it's shiny. Or you can get it in simply Bitcoin colors. Really? You can get it any custom color your heart desires. Also opens up. There we go. You put your favorite hardware wallet in there. Or you get the 3D printed Bitcoin Honey Badger. And you can take advantage of the promo code down below to get 5% off. Alright, so Bitcoiners, I'm sure you've heard on Twitter, right? Either an advertisement for a centralized exchange, or you've heard sailors say it, you heard other people say it. Bitcoin is better than gold, right? Why is Bitcoin better than gold? Bitcoin's better than gold because it's easier to transport over long distances. Compare that with a piece of gold, right? Gold's very heavy. So it's not a problem if you have, a couple $100 worth of physical gold. That's not an issue, right? But try doing $1 million. Try doing $2 million, right? Then that gold starts to become very heavy. Gold is actually a very heavy metal. And not only that, because it's so heavy, what happens is that the storage of it, right, happens to end up in centralized institutions. And because it's in centralized institutions, it actually makes it easier for governments to capture. And that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit today. The deficiencies of gold. Why Bitcoin is better. A couple examples of it. And then a history of governments, the US government, many governments, actually seizing gold whenever they get into trouble, whenever they want to fund a war. So you, the deplorable, the pleb, you get to foot the bill. And what they give you in return is a shitcoin, also known as fiat, as paper money, right? So they take your gold, right? Your sound money that they can't create. Remember, what I told you about earlier. If you want to create more gold, what do? You have to get in line like everybody else, and you got to get that stuff out of the ground, or you have to buy it from somebody else. But fiat, very different. All you have to do is print it. That's very little for governments. And now in the digital age, it's just numbers on a computer. So anyways, let's check it out. I thought you guys would find this interesting. And here we go. And by the way, this is why I believe Bitcoin's going to win. And the world hasn't woken up to this. I fundamentally believe that when the world wakes up to the inferiority, how do you say that, Phil? I can't pronounce it. Inferiority of gold versus Bitcoin. I think this is going to push Bitcoin into the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, easily, right? Just the world hasn't woken up to this yet. Anyways, let's check it out. It's funny because Austrian School of Economics, anyways, a plan conceived by the Austrian Central Bank in 2015 to move 50 tons of their monetary gold from London to Switzerland has not been realized 7 years later. Since 2007, the Austrian Central Bank owns a few kilograms short of 280 tons of gold. In a report released by the Austrian Court of Audits from February 2015, it stated that Austria was holding too much of its metal in London at the Bank of England. The Court of Audits concluded that all contracts between OENB and its external depositories, but mainly the one in England, contained deficiencies and auditing measures were lacking. Now, a couple things here, right? Austria is custodying their gold with another foreign country. That gives that foreign country a tremendous amount of leverage, which I'll get to in a second. But the other component, right, is auditing. How do you know that all those gold bars are really 99% gold? You know how you do that with Bitcoin? You run a Bitcoin node. Costs $200-300. In fact, if you get yourself a nodle, it's already built for you, and it's made of fucking metal. It's badass. Go to the link down below, nodle.eu. It's awesome. Anyways, soon after, the Austrian Central Bank announced a new storage concept. Contracts with external depositories would be reviewed and amended. 90 tons stored at BOE would be repatriated, and 50 tons would be transferred from London to Switzerland within 5 years. The new storage concept should have been completed, but it wasn't. And let's talk a little bit about why it wasn't. You know how much 50 tons is? you need a semi-truck guarded with armed guards to make sure the gold gets from point A to point B, just to move that store of value. So you realize its limitations. Now, I was talking about how Austria was outsourcing the storage of its gold. Now, what are the problems of this? Do you guys remember this? UK court overturns ruling on 1.8 billion of Venezuelan gold. And we talked about this when this came out. Now, listen, I'm Venezuelan. I don't like the Maduro government, okay? But do you know how crazy this sounds? The UK is getting to dictate what another country can and cannot do with its gold, and Venezuela had to sue the UK in order to get rights on its gold. So whose gold really is it? Definitely not Venezuela. It sounds like it's the UK, and they have an IOU to Venezuela that they'll pay whether if it's politically favorable or not. This is the problem. This is why we advocate so strongly for self-custody. So 2 things here that I want you to get from this article, right? Outsourcing the storage of wealth, right? Because it's heavy, right? You also want to secure it, right? Another thing is the auditing of it, right? How do you audit? How do you audit that gold is really gold? How do you audit that it's really there? With Bitcoin, you could audit it in the second, on the fly, on your phone. You don't need a special detector, weights, or any of that stuff. Now, let's talk about the other limitations of gold, right? So what happens usually is citizens buy gold as a store of value, right? Especially when the economy's in turmoil and people flee. But the problem is, right, is that if you start to store a lot of it, you don't trust your own custody, right? Why would you? Are you going to build a vault at your house, right? Are you going to build a safe at your house? Okay, a safe is reasonable, but if you have a couple $1 million worth of gold, it's not that reasonable anymore, right? So what happened back in the 1930s? And we talk about this. It's actually very famous in Bitcoin. Executive Order 6102. And essentially, it was an executive order signed by President FDR during the Great Recession, and essentially made it illegal for American citizens to hold gold. You know how crazy that sounds, right? You, as an American citizen, are not allowed to own a certain type of metal that occurs naturally on planet Earth because the government needs to stay afloat. That sounds insane to me. Anyways, so these are a couple examples of people that fought back against the executive order, and you'll start to notice patterns of why was this government so successful at seizing that naturally occurring metal. All right. Anyways, let's check it out. Numerous individuals and companies were prosecuted related to FDR's Executive Order 6102. The prosecutions took place under the subsequent executive orders 6111, 620, 6261, and the Gold Reserve Act of 1934. The circumstances of the case were that New York Attorney General Frederick Barber Campbell had one deposit at Chase National Bank. There it is again, right? Very similar to what you're hearing with the case of Venezuela, very similar to what you're hearing with Austria. But this is just happening on an individual level, right? On the individual level and on the country level, the same problem happens. You're trusting someone else to custody your wealth, right? When Campbell attempted to withdraw the gold, remember guys, not your keys, not your Bitcoin, Chase refused and Campbell sued Chase. Doesn't matter. A federal prosecutor then indicted Campbell on the following day for failing to surrender his gold. So he didn't even have custody of it anymore, but because he didn't go along, they still prosecuted the guy for holding a naturally occurring metal. Insanity. Ultimately, the prosecution of Campbell failed, but the authority of the federal government to seize the gold was upheld, and Campbell's gold was confiscated. Confiscated is another word for stolen. A few months later, Congress passed the Gold Reserve Act of 1934, which ratified Roosevelt's orders. A new set of Treasury regulations was issued, providing civil penalties of confiscation, stealing of all gold, and imposition of fines equal to double the value of the gold seized. Not only are they going to take it, they're going to fine you for the gold. That crazy stuff. So this is another example. Foreigners also had gold confiscated and were forced to accept paper money for their gold. That's the signal. I can't even pronounce that. A Swiss banking company had 1,250,000 in gold coins for business use. The Swiss company entrusted the gold to an American firm for safekeeping. Outsourcing what? Custody. Okay, so why am I talking about all of this stuff? Okay, trying to make the case that Bitcoin is superior to all of this, because if enough people take self-custody, okay, it's very different if the US government, or any government for that matter, says Bitcoin's illegal. But if people actually have it in self-custody, remember, Bitcoin is a monetary network. So you don't have to use their rails. I could transact with Phil directly. Who's going to know? And let's talk about custody, for example, just something that we advocate for. If push comes to shove, you can and will memorize 12 words. So what are they going to do? How are they going to pry those 12 words out of your mind, which gives you access to your Bitcoin? How are they going to do that? Not to mention all the functionalities that the new cold card has, which we had NVK on. You could just, show an alternative wallet, brick the device. It's like, this is what I'm talking about. Bitcoin moves the balance of power from the state to the individual. Because of that, it's completely superior to gold. We don't know how much gold is in the ground. We have no idea. No idea. But we know that there's 21 million Bitcoin. For a fact. So not only is Bitcoin easier to transport over long distances, it gives you an edge in terms of custody. It actually benefits you more to self-custody than it is outsourcing that responsibility to a bank, which could be easily captured by a government, it moves the power into your hands. This is why it's better. And the current market cap of gold is $9-10 trillion. This is superior to that. Much superior. It's much more scarce. It's much easier to transport. It's much easier to custody. It's a monetary system, which Jack Mallers has shown. You don't even have to use Bitcoin itself. You could just use the network. It's superior in every single way. But the thing is worth 9 to 10 times less than gold. The writing is on the frickin' wall. It really is. Just people haven't awoken up to this. But so far, in its 12 years of existence, Bitcoin has been made legal tender in 2 countries, I would say 3, including Panama. It has been the best appreciated asset in human history, right? It has given the people of Tonga, people in Afghanistan, the Cubans, which we've also covered, access to the financial system. It's the most inclusive money that has ever existed, but it's worth 9 times less than the thing that it's supposedly competing for. I don't know. Look, I'm a fan of physical gold. I like it because it's sound, right? You know that someone just can't print more of it at no cost. But it's very limited into what you could do with it. What are you going to do with that metal bar? How are you going to sell it? How are you going to exchange? You go to McDonald's, right? Are you going to chip off and weigh the exact piece of gold so that you could pay for your fries? Bitcoin has 8 decimal places. You could get a fraction of Bitcoin to pay for your fries. So I'm making the case right now that Bitcoin is superior in every single way. And that's why I fundamentally believe when people find out, when the world finds out, and they are, slowly but surely, this will push Bitcoin into the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, if not tens of millions, easily. It's just a better technology. It does everything that gold does, but it's better. The only thing that gold has an advantage on Bitcoin is that it has a 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 year history. That's the only thing. But that time will fix that also, right? So those are my those are my thoughts. Those are my 2 cents. I hope I made the case. Phil, what are your thoughts on this, my friend?
Okay, you know what? I mean, I know that you just made the case for Bitcoin, but as I was listening to you, all I could think of is I'm ready for a gold-based future. And you know what? I'm going to start, because you're absolutely right. There is a need for being able to cut slivers of gold when you go to the stores. So what I'm proposing, I'm going to start a crowdfunding project. Okay, it's going to be for a portable smelter and weighing system. Everyone's going to carry it because you can't trust the stores, right? And they can't trust yours. So everybody has to compare in every single transaction. Nico, it's going to be completely fair. It's totally easy to do, right? And everyone can partake in that system. So I'm definitely, I'm a huge fan of the gold future that can be confiscated and that's not practical and that's difficult to transport. We're all for that. But you know what? That future can happen if all the lights go out and the internet dies. Okay? If everything goes back to us being cavemen, gold wins. We win. Okay? So, but no. In all seriousness, joking aside, right? So look, I wanted to go back to one of the points that you made about we don't know how much gold is in the earth. The only thing we do know is how much gold we mine each year. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's 1 to 2% of the total what has already been mined. Okay? So again, this is a bullshit metric. Like that, it just sounds completely fake. So because that's how much we mine, it's a scarce asset? Really? So
it's the scarcest asset that has existed until Bitcoin came around. That's the fucking beauty of it, dude.
Exactly.
The inflation rate of gold is between 1 and 2%, but that is only because of economics. If the price of gold goes up, you bet your bottom dollar that there will be more gold mining operations and more gold will come out of the ground because what? The price of gold is higher.
Exactly.
With Bitcoin, even if the price of Bitcoin goes higher, the amount of Bitcoin mined gets cut in half every 4 years no matter what. Do you get it now? I sound like a crazy person.
That's okay. We all sound like crazy people, but you're definitely more animated. So look, let's just mention Peter Schiff. We can't mention gold and Bitcoin without mentioning Peter Schiff. Peter, 5 years to move gold, bud. 5 years. What kind of transaction finality is that? That's embarrassing. This is what you're proposing for the people to save their money with and to become a proper financial system? 5 years to move gold? Or the best part is somebody asks you to move the gold and you just don't want to. You just say, no. There you go. Go screw. Instead, you could take my fiat. Take me to court. And of course, the last piece to this, my favorite thing that the gold bugs always bring up, right? Because what you were talking about is, what can you do with that bar of gold? You can't eat it, okay? You can't defend your family with it. You can't do any of that with it. What can you do?
Technically, you could defend your family because
you could throw it at people.
Throw it at people.
Yeah, but it's not as good as bullets or guns. But anyways, my point is that you can't really do that much with it, but there is a utility use case for it, Nico, and that's why it deserves all the attention. Now, it's funny. I remember getting fooled by the utility use case when I was a shitcoiner. I was like, oh yeah, it's got utility. Do you know how much value there is of that utility? It's like $30 of value. For gold, it's like $30 to $32. If I'm not mistaken, isn't that what the gold was bought back for back in the 30s? Something like that. So look, guys, I know that the gold bugs, they want to pretend like gold still has a day in the sun coming. It has no days in the sun, okay? All it is night and shade. Sorry, this thing is not coming back to light. It is not dawning a whole new financial system. No one is all of a sudden switching over to gold. Bitcoin is the better gold.
But to give them credit, they were right in their theory.
Yes.
They were wrong with the tool in order to achieve.
They just didn't have a better tool yet.
Yeah.
Right? As you know, it's the technology. All of these forces hadn't come together yet to make Bitcoin. So you're absolutely right. They understood what was wrong and they understand what's wrong.
And this is why, last point real quick, this is why we always make the case we have a chance to separate money from state. We actually have a chance. With gold, it was always going to be unfeasible because of the properties of gold, right? It was always going to be centralized and Bitcoin in some way, it's following that pattern, right? You can't deny that. The majority of Bitcoin is held by exchanges and they're custodying for other people. However, that fraction of people, and hopefully our voice gets louder and louder, and more people will understand the benefit of self-custody, especially in developing countries that don't have formal exchanges, right? I think we have a chance to really change this, right? I really do. If enough people take self-custody, we win, and there's nothing the government could do about it because their return on violence is very limited. It's limited. What are they going to do? You think the government is going to go to millions of people's houses and seize their wealth against their will in a country like the US that has more guns than people? I don't know, man. And look, it's not only me saying that. You had Jeff Booth, when he came on the show, he said, to quote him, there will be a revolution if they make something like Bitcoin illegal. Not to mention the game theory with the individual states. Like Texas is going to defend Bitcoin. Florida, Wyoming, right? New York, California, lost cause. But, right, there's kind of a game theory, a flag theory playing out as well, right? So anyways, I just wanted to bring that up to you guys. I thought it was really interesting and extremely bullish for Bitcoin. People have not woken up to the signal, the truth, and that is the orange coin, baby. Anyways, Phil, there was an open source software release today. Why don't you tell everybody about it?
Software releases. Brought to you by CipherSafe. Check them out, cyphersafe.io. Paper's dead. Don't store your seed on paper. Store your seed in the Cypher Wheel or the all-new Cypher Grid. They both come with a tamper-resistant wire, and the grid comes with a punch tool. All right, we've got Nick's Bitcoin version 0.0.72 that was released. It's down below in the show notes. Guys, don't forget to check us out on our audio-only platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. If you want to stream us sats, check us out on fountain.fm. You can stream us sats through Breeze.
Awesome. Thank you, Phil. All right, guys, that was the show. Before we go, I want to give a very special shout out to our awesome clothing sponsor, RepresentLTD.com. Phil and I wear the hoodies every single day. This is the camo hoodie. Phil has the Bitcoin hoodie. We try to wear different ones, but we have our favorites, obviously. And you can take advantage of the promo code down below to get 10% off anything off the RepresentLTD.com online store. I also want to make a quick announcement. Phil, like I said earlier on the show, is he's escaping communist state, as also known as Massachusetts. He's fleeing to Florida. They're persecuting him, but he found a mule to bring him over the wall. Totally joking. It's a bad joke. But anyways, Phil's moving, and he's going to be driving for the next couple of days. So I'm going to be headlining the show. To be a little bit different for you guys. I'm going to be co-hosting with Optimus Fields. He's been joining us every Sunday, or the episode you guys see on Monday. So that's what we're going to be doing for the next 4 days. So you're going to get your dose of Simply Bitcoin. It's just going to be a slightly different dose without Phil. But Phil will be back next week. Don't worry. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the show, you know what to do. Smash that like button. Of course, if you want to continue hearing the Bitcoin news from the plain pleb perspective and the catastrophic fails from the same perspective, which is the best perspective, definitely consider subscribing to Simply Bitcoin. We'll see you tomorrow, guys, for a new episode.
The gold bugs were on the right track. They just had the wrong tool. Bitcoin's here, and it fixes this.